And we are live. Welcome to the stream. And things are bad. Things are bad. But they are getting slightly better. This in front of you is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. In fact, let me just double check that the audio is working. Fear and Greed Index. We're all good. We're all good. So in front of you, there's a Crypto Fear and Greed Index. And we had this flash up the other day, the lowest it has ever been, which was the 6th. I don't know why it's American day. It's a bit annoying, but the 6th or the 7th of Feb, sorry, the 6th of Feb, 5, on a scale of 0 being extreme, extreme, extreme fear, and 100 extreme, extreme, extreme greed. And what that has triggered is everyone shitting the pants with crypto, and also guys that are in liquidity pools as well. Guys in liquidity pools are basically getting scared of the liquidity dropping. I should have said the fees dropping, which is because of the volume dropping. Now, if you look at this, you can see how fast things change in crypto. What happens today doesn't necessarily mean tomorrow will be the same. And that is something we've learned in crypto, is that things can change very fast. Very, very fast with crypto. So if you are feeling down, look at this. Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, or Strategy as they call now, has just bought another 592 Bitcoin. So as you are panicking with your 0.0001 Bitcoin, this guy's just bought more and continues buying over and over and over again, consistently. Long term, Bitcoin addresses with a balance of 100 BTC or more, consistently going up over time. And there are drops, don't get me wrong. As we go into bear market, does dip slightly. Not dipped as much as it did previously, though. Look at the other bull runs here. You can see it dropping. But look at this. This massive sharp uprise. And I should say black is the BTC price. Orange is the addresses. Look at this sharp uprise, 24 to 26. And it dipped down a bit for a few years. Overall, it's going up. And this one as well. Long-term holder supply. There has been dips, which is the green, after the bull market. But overall, sustained upwards trajectory. So what does that mean going forward? Because I'm trying to get the quote, actually. And don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but you can guess who said this. The most famous family in every conspiracy theory. And this is an article looking if you bought all the lows. And let me guess, I bet a lot of people wish that when we had the crash in 2020, that they bought, and also any dips along the way. So you could look at BTC's chart. Let me just get one up. Over its history. And of course, I'm looking at BTC because that rules the market. You know, in 2020, you can't even see the dip now because it's gone up that much. Look at it. So in 2020, we had a sharp dip here. I wonder if I can get volume as well. And bear in mind, volume is good up or down. So we had a big dip in 2020. Let's just go over to this. Then I'll go to volume. That was a big dip. And then guess what happened after it? Went insane. And then guess what happened after that? It went insane again. And that's just what happens in Bitcoin's history and crypto. Now, to narrow down on what a lot of the guys have been experiencing recently, and today is the 23rd, is this. Can we get an arrow on here? This is a bit of a shit arrow. You get my point though. So people will be saying who have got into liquidity pools, and this is the most common thing at the moment. The volume, sorry, the APRs are down. So if I'm going to show the update as well on the pool I started. So if we go on my deposits, right, this is what I'm scaling up at the moment. I'm going to put more in very soon. People are complaining that the APRs that they see on VFAT are inaccurate, exaggerated. But this isn't, there isn't a person sat here making these up. It is determined by historical and projected APRs based on the market. And the thing that controls the fees is the volume. How long before we DCA back in? So I just wanted to cover this. I'm DCAing back in at the moment. So people say the APRs are inaccurate. And the reason they're inaccurate is because if you have a period of lots of volume followed by low, it's taking the average. Now, if you're entering the market or entering pools or in pools when it's the low of the market, your fees are going to be lower. But the issue that people have is patience. I've got so many DMs, so many messages of people all asking the same question. Why is VFAT inaccurate? Why is the APR wrong? Why am I not getting as many fees as I used to get if you've been in a pool historically? and why, if I've just got in, as it's not as high. And it's because of the volume. So we look back, this is BTC, by the way, so others will be affected differently. 2 spikes here. If you think of the average, what it will be, it's going to be in the middle here, isn't it? And again, it depends on when you joined. Quite a lot of volume here. So if you joined here on these days for the BTC pool, you're going to have less volume. Like imagine you joined here on this day, the APR is going to be lower. And again, one thing to note is, say the market goes down quickly, that means more volume. So they actually get, the APRs will actually go up. So it's not determined by the lower crypto goes in price, the lower the APR. It doesn't work like that. All volume. And historically on a weekend, the volume isn't as good. So you can literally see on this chart, so if I can zoom in a bit more. Look, because Saturday and Sunday on this. Look at that. That is the candle on Saturday. Hardly much movement compared to, look at that today. More volume. And look at that there. Friday. So there's always historically, not always, but less volume on a weekend. And people have got to start thinking long term. Because what are the options? You know, the mistake I see people make is they discover this. They discover liquidity pools. They have a look through. They see what rewards that they can get on their crypto, which is good. Let's be honest. They get in some pools, and then after a couple of weeks, oh, it's not behaving as it should, blah, blah, blah. And then they piss about between pools, swapping this, swapping that. Oh, this pool's better, that pool's better. And it's like, look, whatever assets you've got, test the pools, which is what I say. Getting the ones that perform best by testing them yourself, i.e. which ones earn most. So if you put $100, like I did in 3 pools, see which earns the most, then enter that pool, stick with it, see it performs over a decent amount of time. And you can't really say if it's a low volume period that it's shit, you know? So this one here was very interesting because this Keto one says it's earning 28% APR. It's actually earning more. I think it was 63% this is actually earning. And whereas another pool said it was earning 200, it wasn't. It was earning 25. So this is actually underestimating. It's saying off $876, I'm going to earn 66 cents a day. I reset this yesterday evening, maybe. So it's definitely accurate in terms of what it's the period it's selecting, but obviously it's not accurate as in the here and now today. And again, if this looks too low in terms of, you know, $10 earned since yesterday off this, then everything will change as volume increases. I mentioned the shitcoin pool, which is this one. This is it says it's 5,000%. I think it was 650%. It was actually running at. This is actually not lost any value. I took profits on this. $11 since I set it up 2 days ago. And now it's at another $3.50. So that's probably earning $5 a day on the shitcoin pool with $100 deposit. That's $150 a month of $100 ish. Could vary. And I'm just going to run this pool to the ground. And obviously the objective is to, you know, every time it gets to $10, I'm just going to claim this. And then I've been swapping the whatever this coin is for BTC, sending it to my other wallet and seeing how much profit I can make out of this $100. Now, this is not a pool where I would scale it up, you know, and think, right, well, of $1,000, I can make $50 a day. $10,000, I can make $500 a day in this pool. That is not what I am getting at, because that's dangerous thinking. Dangerous thinking. But I'm going to be scaling up my deposits, especially in this Ethereum pool here, and then into the Keto one as well, from where we're currently at, and then going to test this. Yeah, and I think what amazes me is people complaining in a bear market when crypto is going down. People are complaining that when they test the pools, I saw a post by someone, and guess what? They were only getting 70% APR, only, you know, and 70% APR. And this is non-compounded, by the way. So if you don't compound it, you just take the profits. That's around 6% a month ROI. Where can you get 6% a month return? A month, right? If you speak to people in property, and I'll put it now here, average returns on property rent after fees. So this is where I'm in the UK. Look, what's the point? 3 to 5% annually. And we always compare, look at this here. $200K property, 4% net yield. You could gain in this bear market, someone complaining they're getting 70% APR instead of it saying 200 and something, and getting 5% a month. Let's just say 4% a month versus 4% net yield. I mean, to this, there's not even any point, really, is there? With, if you're getting 4% a yield on a property, you may as well just put it in a savings account, because it's less hassle, let's be honest. Because you're going to get taxed, blah, 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 tenants. And that is why, unfortunately, we've seen a big pivot in the financial world from people actually with money. People with money, how are they growing their wealth? And most of the time, they're literally just investing it or living off savings. I was looking at the accounts of a local company not too far from me, and it's been running for 20, 30 years. And it is a combination of a company that produces, I'm not going to say what it is, but it produces a product, and the product, the profits from that product, they also have diversified into property, and the savings and the yield they've got from the commercial property and the profits originally from the company went into a savings account. The only thing making money is the savings account. The savings account makes 1 million a year. 1 million. The company loses money that produces the product, and the savings account just earns 1 million a year. So the directors have zero reason to run the company because it loses money, but obviously they do because of employment, blah, blah, blah. And you'll see that with a lot of people, because if you look at this here, if you're a private landlord and you, again, 4% net yield is pointless. Because if I had 200K to invest and it was like property or whatever, obviously I'd choose a crypto route. But even if you just put it in, say, a stocks and shares ISA in the UK, you get 10% back on the S&P 500 year per year. That's 20K tax-free without the headache of anything. And a lot of people could live off 20K tax-free a year. Passive. So going back to the yields, people complaining, oh, I'm only getting 70% APR, sorry. Well, you try finding a better ROI that's as less maintenance as this. You know, there's no tenants, there's no massive overheads, there's no neighbors, etc. And if you learn how to do it, it's not rocket science. You can do it, you know? So at the end of the day, you've got to take the rough with the smooth with liquidity pools. Just like a business, every day isn't going to be green, you know? But the longer you are in it, the more green days you will see. And again, the green days don't have to be number go up, because if it's a green day in a liquidity pool, that could be the price of an asset going down, you know? Is the 4-year cycle still in play? Yes, we're into the bear market, my friend. Let me just see if I can find an on-chain metric. I mean, there's still metrics out there that say we've not hit the end of the bull market, but I think we have. But the best thing to do for me personally is I don't want to just hold my crypto and wake up every day and wait for something to happen. That is why I'm actively using the liquidity pools to try and yield something back. You know, try and get something back. There's so many coins that are dead, unfortunately. And what's funny, a guy, some weirdo in the comments, said to me, I hope EGLD, which you keep bashing, comes back, just to prove me wrong. Some random guy on the internet, to prove the guy with 18K subs wrong. I'm trying to find how low it is now in market cap. Is it this low? Ah, it's lower. Look. This is pretty much fallen into oblivion. And look at the volume on something as high as Binance. 6 figures now. This used to be a billion dollar project. 8 billion at its top. 127 million now. And I'm sorry to say it, it's just, there's so many projects that are just not coming back. And that's why I've expressed what I'm doing, which is accumulating BTC. Obviously, I've got my coins, but in terms of DCA, into the pools, accumulating ETH, USDC, Kita. I've no idea. I just think the cycle will just play out as the cycle plays out, which is probably a bottom at some point this year, just like previous years, and then we'll go on to a slow grind up again. Because, I mean, if you look at the chart, it went up for too long. Look at it. So if you want to know where we are in the cycle, that was the top in 2021. What was the top here? Yeah, around the same time, October 9th. So we're around about here in the cycle. Bit of a relief, and then we'll probably hit a bottom by the end of the year. Then there'll probably be a slow grind upwards, like there was, to a new all-time high, in my opinion. But again, some coins just are not coming back. Yeah, a lot of people do refuse to believe it because they've doubled down on the coins, unfortunately. So a general rule of thumb that I use, and obviously there's going to be outliers, so don't come to me in 4 years and be like, oh, well, this coin survived. There's outliers, isn't there? But my general rule of thumb is, if I open up Solana, Tron, most of these, to be honest with you, XRP, and just show you the difference in the charts, then I load up EGLD. And I'm going to load up another one. I'm going to load up Illuvium, which kind of used to have. Gaming just did absolutely nothing. And then we'll load up another coin. In fact, I'll pick another one. Right, so here's Solana. Here's 24.25. All-time high, 2025. Solana, yeah. All-time high, back end of 24. Look at the chart there, all the way up. XRP. Look at the chart, massive spike, all-time high, 25. You see what I'm getting at with all these? Look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, same pattern, same type of looking charts, all the way up, all-time high last year. Then you look at this. All-time high, 2021. The last bull run. All-time low, 18 days ago. Look at that chart. Illuvium. Another chart. All-time high, 2021. Nothing in the last bull run. And then, you can scroll down. Usually it's lower the market cap, the worse it is. I try and go to one that I've heard of. Gala. Do you ever remember Gala Games? Again, look at the chart. All-time high, 2021. So to answer this question, just do the same as I've done. You don't need technical analysis. You don't need to go in depth about anything. Because to me, it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious if you load up a chart and you see that it's got an all-time high in 2025. And if it's got an all-time high in 2025, for me, that signals that it's got life in it. But if the coin, whatever that coin is, looks like that, and its all-time high was like 5 years ago, and it didn't go up when all these others did, why would it go up again? All right, you may have an outlier here and there, but why would it go up? Why would it just randomly go up? Because there's just so many new coins that people want to get into. What's like this coin, for example, what is bringing people to this coin? Apart from nothing. And you've got to think that. So if you've got a stack full of coins and every chart's like this, the all-time high was like 5 years ago, didn't do anything in 24 or 25 in terms of all-time high, why would it go up in the next bull run? Or why would it not continue to just grind down forever? Why wouldn't it? That is the question. And unfortunately, there will still be people online, on X or whatever, with this coin. No disrespect to anyone that holds this, but I like Illuvium the game, but token did nothing. The same with this. You know, gaming just didn't do it. And it's a shame. Doge boys, do you mean Doge specifically? Should we have a look at Doge? Doge is a hard one because Elon mentions it and it goes up. I don't think he's mentioned it for a long time, though, to be honest. I don't know if he's lost interest. Doge, 5 years ago since all-time high, had a bit of a resurgence, but again, it's a bit of a different one, that. Hard to say because of the Elon thing. Moon River. I have no idea what that is. Let's have a look. Bro, come on. All-time high, 2021. They're 99.7%. But again, it depends, you know. Personally, if I had this coin and it was down 99 points, whatever percentage, if I had a couple of $100 in it, if I'm honest, if my overall portfolio was like 10, 20K and I had a few $100 in this, personally, I'd just leave it because you never know. You know? Because what you're going to do with the money? But I presume for this, just like a lot of the other coins, I don't know if this is still working. I think the thing as well people do is, so they'll watch me do something on here in terms of liquidity pools. They'll find their coin and they'll be like, oh, well, I can stake my coin for 50, 60, whatever percent, but there's no point staking or getting rewards on something that's not doing, that has a chart that is doing nothing. I'm just trying to see if there's a community on here. Is this it? See, I mean, no disrespect to this guy, but what why you would keep DCing into this coin is beyond me. Let's have a look at this. Is this the avocado one? I know people were using this in liquidity pools. Yes, I know a few guys last year were using this. I think it's dried up though. I mean, if you set up that range, it's been within that for 2 months. So if you add, I don't know, there's very low liquidity in here, I think now. But just to give a point, $500, 83 a month. $200 a month off 1,200. But again, I can't tell you what's going to happen with this, but very, very low market cap. AI coin, I think. Vader. Is this another Solana token? Has to do with Star Wars. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, all-time high was in January, but I think it just launched then. So, is this something to do with Star Wars or not? Another AI token. Stay in the top 100 now and hold thanks. So yes. Clickbait time. No, it isn't clickbait because Mr. Smartass in the comments. I've got rid of it now, actually. It is. I'm referring to. If I can get it up. I'm referring to this Banana Republic. The Fear and Greed Index reaching the lowest point ever since its inception at 5. The lowest ever. So I never thought we'd see a 5 for the Fear and Greed Index because we've never, ever seen it. But what that means, to come full circle, is they always tell you, well, the experts tell us to buy low and sell high. Now, if we're in extreme fear territory and we've had a big dip, and by big I mean massive, I'm not telling you what to do, but what does that tell you, right? And I'm sure you've all seen the memes where it's people lining up to buy something when it's high. I mean, you don't have to look at the group of idiots queuing to buy gold at its all-time high. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, Look. So all these idiots queuing up to buy gold 4 months ago. And this is what people do. They've seen how high gold went. I know, I'll buy it at its all-time high. That's literally what people do. And it's the same with Bitcoin. Everyone buys it when it's high. Everyone buys it when it's high. No one wants to buy it when it's low. Right? If we look at gold specifically, because we're talking about that, no one was buying it here in this accumulation phase. Under $2,000, but everyone saw it go to 5K and then they have to queue for it. And it's the same with BTC. I get so many messages of friends and family. I get so many messages of friends and family every time Bitcoin gets back over 100K. Every single time. Right? People always messaging me saying, should I buy Bitcoin? Should I buy Bitcoin 100K? Not one person, not a single one of them has messaged me at the moment. Bitcoin is it? I don't know the exact price today. Let me just check. 65K. So it's half price than the all-time high. It's considerably a big discount from when they were messaging me at 100K. And not a single one of them is messaging me saying, should I buy Bitcoin? Not a single one. And that's the way you got to think about it. You got to buy when you feel that it's not good, when there's blood on the streets. But again, the way I see it is I'm using assets to accumulate more. I mean, I ain't going to tell you what to do, but I'm accumulating ETH, Kita, and Bitcoin. Kita is the coin I've got that I want to acquire a bit more of. But I'm not telling you what to do. But I'm looking at the higher assets, yes. Because this, I have got Bitcoin. I had Bitcoin average by around 27K now. From the last bull run, and a bit of ETH, but that is now my focus because this run has taught us that you cannot trust too many altcoins, unfortunately. We'll see. Bought gold around 1700, 1800 and silver up until 2024. Let's considering selling and moving on to dip in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Buy high, sell low. As long as they're not shit coins, I would say. As long as they're not shit coins. But that's it. I'll leave you with that. If you want to book a call with the team, join the group. The QR code is there. Or if you want to join a free chat, access my free PDF DeFi playbook. Link in description for that. That's it for me today anyway, guys. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you very soon.